I love the Norwegian purl. I think it looks a little bit more complicated than the English style purl, but I promise when you get the motion down, you'll find it really easy. And it will make things like doing a rib stitch where you switch back and forth between knitting and purling really fluid. Spoiler alert, that's next week's episode. But on to the Norwegian purl. When you're knitting, the yarn is behind your work in both styles. Because purling is the reverse of knitting, you need the yarn to be in front. In English style, as we just saw, you do this by actually moving the yarn to the front of your work and holding it there. Norwegian style has a different way of doing this. You're going to hold the yarn the exact same way, but instead of coming from the front and picking up the yarn this way, you're going to go from behind the yarn and then put your needle down through the stitch like that. Now this is the part where it gets a little tricky, so bear with me. Here you're going to twist the needle up and pick up that yarn off your finger, then pull it through that stitch where you just came through the exact same way. So you have that loop, and then you are just going to slide that off the needle. So again, going behind the yarn, down through the stitch, twisting to grab that, and then pulling it through and off. The one downside to this is, although I'm exaggerating it a bit to make sure it's clear what I'm doing, but because of how much you stretch this stitch when you're twisting around and grabbing that loop, you really need to watch your gauge to make sure your purl rows are much looser than your knit rows.